from 9.
A little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt.
Yes, it's time for Sam Hunt, a little something for the weekend. Morning, Sam.
Good day, Wammo. This is the last of the Kokakos.
Last of the year.
The last of the Kokakos. Hey, well, look. This is my last little something for the weekend. Or my last little something for the weekend. But it's the last broadcast called Little Something for the Weekend. I do plan on having a little something more, and maybe even a few more weekends.
But without you around, I wonder what we're going to have to do with the Kakiko. Should we euthanise it?
Hey?
Shall we euthanize it? Euthanize. That's the term.
Well, one thing I want to do while I've got the last 10 minutes here, is just respond to a woman who's written to me. Her name's Nicola Reed, and she's emailed me saying that her grandmother, who writes for the Picton Seaport News, has been trying to locate a poem of mine called Harpoon Song. And so I'd like to say that poem because I've told them that it's going to be coming on air. So if I may say a poem, which was originally when I published it part of a film I made called Catching the Tide.
Yeah.
And this was in tribute to a man I never met, but I met his widow, the harpooner's widow. Her name was Moira Norton, and she spoke on the film very powerfully of her late husband Trevor, who was the chief harpooner or one of them, the ace harpooners for the Pirano family, the whalers. And a lot of those ones who are still alive now are back there counting the humpback whales as they go through Cook Strait today.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, they've got the old harpooners up there on the on the lookout on the lookout.
When did they stop harpooning?
64.
Oh, was it as late as that?
I think it's 64, 63, 64, about the time of the Beatles. About the time of Rolling Stones. That's right. Yeah. So here's a poem which has now changed its shape and form a bit, but it's the same one. So I call it the Harpooner's Song. Because at the time I remember reading Moby Dick and the Romance of Nantucket, and I was in our own Nantucket. Here we go, Harpooner's Song. Too late today to leave, I long since lost the choice. Outside of the chase, it could be a shit of a life, so stick it never was Nantucket. I drink, of course I drink. It lets me think of other lives, of anything other. But town for me is Picton, brother, it never was Nantucket. The feel and the fear, the fever of Cook Strait, nights and mornings after, this man blowing out on it. Some days on deck, sure-footed as a goat or lucky as a drunk. Long nights, tar white, songs about harpoons and men who made an art of throwing them straight. I live in Picton, brother, but I work Cook Strait. Too late today to leave, I long since lost the choice. I lived for the chase, I made the chase an art. The town chose me to live in it. I chose it and called it town. It never was Nantucket. Picton is the town I'm in.
Brilliant.
So that's one for Nicola and her good grandmother of the Picton Seaport News. Yeah.
Nice.
And being last program, going back to an old friend who I've read on this program a lot, from the Orkneys, the outer Orkneys, George Mackay Brown. And this little something for the weekends have been about poems. Well, here's a little short one by George Mackay Brown, which I love, and I've said it before, and it's worth saying again, called The Poet. Therefore he no more troubled the pool of silence, but put on mask and cloak, strung a guitar, and moved among the folk. Dancing they cried, ah, how our sober islands are gay again, since this blind lyrical tramp invaded the fair. Under the last dead lamp, when all the dancers and masks had gone inside, his cold stare returned to its true task, interrogation of silence. And that's what it's all about. It's all about interrogating the silence. Yeah.
Punctuating the silence.
Yeah, making something out of it. So, talking of that, I'm off this Northland boy. I'm off to Southland tomorrow.
What are you doing down there?
I'm doing a show.
Whereabouts?
In Invercargill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Invercargill, and Southland, a Southland gig. It's a community hall. It's a community hall that they have.
Hopefully they've got good heaters in that community hall.
Oh, I think they have, and they've got pretty warm hearts, those Southlanders. Yeah. As may I say, I just want to sort of say, in departing the airwaves on a regular basis, I want to sort of just say thanks to certain people, very much yourself, Wammo, and it's been great working with you, and it sounds like a bit of a farewell speech, but Karen Hay and Andrew Fagan, who initiated my broadcast 6 years ago.
Yeah. And now, first broadcast, that was Waitangi Day.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Andrew about that yesterday on the phone, and he was not. Yeah, but it's 6 years ago. But I think I came on and did a program on the first day of the station.
Yeah, 2005.
Yeah, and then later on it became a regular thing. But after that. But also want to say cheers to a lot of the poets whose poems were told here. People like Sarah Broom and Stu Bagby and Michael Richards and the Kapiti and the Zen of Kapiti, Rob Hack, and good poets. And of course the other ones that we didn't know personally, but people like Octavio Paz and George Mackay Brown and Yeats and as a poem which I'd love to finish off with. And Wallace Chapman too, who did
that's right.
Broadcast. Was he on before you did
on the breakfast show? But we moved around. I mean, we were doing this in the afternoon at one point, and it was on the drive time slot.
Right. Yeah. I like the morning. It suits me fine. Yeah. It suits me fine. Well, I'm looking forward to flying down the country tomorrow. Just hope we don't get struck by lightning. Two planes have been struck by lightning in the last week.
Yeah, it's been full on.
Yeah. And I seem to attract. I mean, I've been hit by, not me personally, but this house that we live in here down on the Kaipara. We've been struck 3 times in the 9 years that I've been living here.
Right. And we've talked about that, I think, over the years as well. About didn't you have ball lightning going through the house from one end to the other?
I think that was maybe something else I'd taken. It was a pretty good hit, whatever it was. I've been trying to remember what it was. Yeah. No one knows the name. No one can pronounce the name.
But that's something that's been magic about this slot as well. Is of course the poetry, but also the snapshots into your life up there in the Kaipara and what's been going on, and learning a lot about Alf as well.
Well, he's good, and he's playing that guitar. What Chuck Berry say? Playing guitar like ringing a bell.
Yeah,
he's playing his guitar like ringing a bell, and it's school holidays, and he's got to be interviewed by the deputy principal for a bit of bad behaviour today. But we'll be on to new tracks next term.
Yeah.
So to finish off, may I finish with one of my all-time heroes, great poet, Pablo Neruda, from across he came from 4,000 miles across that Pacific Ocean, Chile. And here's a poem, been one of my favorites for years, both in Spanish, para todos, but I'll say it in English because I think my English is a little bit better than the Spanish. It's called For Everyone, and it is for everyone. I can't just suddenly tell you what I should be telling you, friend. Forgive me. You know that although you don't hear my words, I wasn't asleep or in tears, that I'm with you without seeing you for a good long time and until the end. I know that many may wonder, what is Pablo doing? I'm here. If you look for me in the street, you'll find me with my violin, prepared to break into song, prepared to die. It is nothing I have to leave to anyone, not to these others, not to you. And if you listen well in the rain, you'll hear that I come and go and hang about, and you know that I have to leave. Even if my words don't know it, be sure I'm the one who left. There is no silence which doesn't end. When the moment comes, expect me, and let them all know I'm arriving in the street with my violin. So there we are. It's on the street with my violin. And thanks, Wammo.
It's a little something for this weekend and all the weekends to come. But I'm sure that this won't be our final meeting on the airwaves.
We may meet up one weekend in heaven. Good on you, Wammo.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you very much.
See you, mate. Bye.
That was a little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt, only on Kiwi